Guys, welcome back to Southern Extreme TV. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. We've got another really cool product review for you guys today. We are talking about the Discovery Optics ED-PRS 5x25 scope. I've got it mounted right here on top of a Savage 17 B mag. Can't wait to show you guys this scope. Let's get into it. So guys, first of all, I want to talk about right out of the box, this scope, the way that it feels and the way that it maneuvers feels like a very, very high-end quality scope. When you've picked this scope up and you feel it in your head, you're thinking $1,000 to $2,000 scope. That's the first initial thought that I have. You'll notice on this scope that it is not a polished body like you see on a lot of the scopes where it's real slick looking and filed down. This is going to be more of a matte, more of a grippy kind of feeling scope to it. It's kind of hard to explain the way that it feels, but you can almost hear it whenever you rub it. It's got a little grit to it, which is really nice. I like that about that scope. It's got that matte look, which I think is really going to hide well out in the woods. Another thing that just automatically pops out to me taking it out of the box is your adjustable turrets. How big they are. They're big, they're visible, they're easy to grab a hold to, they're audible. Really good job, in my opinion, of the way that that is laid out. I like the fact that they're big. I like the fact that you can actually see it, especially in low light conditions. That is super, super nice. The other thing is you've got a really nice parallax adjustment on the side. It's a really big wheel. You can really grab a hold to it, and you can just tell that it's there. So just straight out of the box, that's my first initial impression of this scope. But before I go into too much detail, I want to talk about what all comes in this behemoth of a box that comes with this ED-PRS scope. So let's dive straight into it. I'm going to see if I can get this thing open. This is the ED glass. So the glass that Discovery uses is called an ED glass. Not 100% sure what that is, but I will tell you that the glass is extremely clear. I would compare the clarity of the glass very similar to that of a Vortex or an Athlon optics. I've not looked through some of the super high-end Vortex scopes, but I have looked through some of the very, very high-end Athlon optics, and I think it's very relatable and very comparable to that type of glass as well. So getting into this box, there is so many goodies that come in this box straight from the factory. And let me show you guys right here up close. I know I'm probably panning over here in a minute for my cut, but just to show you guys all this stuff that you're getting, you get 3 different size sunshades, which is absolutely mind-boggling to me, because typically when you start thinking about a sunshade, you're typically going to get something kind of like this right here that comes with that scope that you can screw on to the very end of it, and it'll help knock that glare down. But with this scope here, you get 3 different options. So in my eyes, this scope would be absolutely perfect for somebody going out target practicing at very long distances, shooting prairie dogs at very long distances. Being able to have those 3 different interchangeable sunshades is something that is extremely nice in my opinion. Another great thing that they do is, you can't see it here, but in this little plastic case right here, they actually send you scope rings. Now these are really high scope rings. These are extra high. So the rings are actually probably designed to go on an AR-10 or AR-15 style platform, which is not a bad idea. I really like that idea of having a semi-automatic weapon that this scope goes onto. So the fact that they already include the extra high rings with this scope is something that a lot of manufacturers don't do. And the good thing about it is the scope rings are actually pretty quality made. From what I can tell, mounting them on there and just kind of jostling this thing around, the scope hasn't went anywhere whatsoever, and they look really nice, and you can just tell that the machining on them is extremely nice also. So I don't think I'm going to have any problems with these rings. The only downfall to it is if you're going to put it on a bolt action like this right here, you can see that scope is sticking up pretty high. Like you can get your hand all the way in between that scope and that barrel. I would like to see maybe an option of a medium size to a low profile set of rings to go with this scope, and maybe eliminate 2 of the 3 sunshades. So maybe that's a little bit of a cost increase, or maybe a cost decrease with not having the 3 sunshades. I don't know. That's one thing that I would like to see, is I would like to be able to have that option to either put the extra high rings on, or maybe some medium height rings if I want to put this on a bolt action rifle. So really nice that they sent out the scope rings with the scope. They also gave you this little tool doohickey. I call it a doohickey. It's got like it has a little brush on it, so you can get in here and you can clean your lens off, and then you've actually got, it reminds you of a dry erase marker, but the very end is really soft, so if you've got some moisture built up on that scope lens, you've got a little handy dandy tool here that you can clean all that with. So really cool that they sent that along with all this other stuff that you're getting. It also sends you in a box a scope leveling kit, and I'm just going to be honest with you, I did not use this scope leveling kit whenever I installed this scope on this gun, so I can't speak to whether it works really well or not. But for those of you that do not have a scope leveling kit, you're going to get a scope leveling kit in the package with this ED-PRS scope, which is really, really cool. And another thing I want to talk about is that a lot of people don't talk about on these reviews is the quality of the shipping container that this scope comes in. I think if I'm manufacturing a scope or some type of optic, I really want to take my time, and I would pay a lot of detail into the packaging and the way that they actually deliver this scope to your door. And the fact that all this stuff is precision cut or molded, however you want to, whatever the process is, but the box is quality. The stuffing that everything fits into was made specifically for this, and it was just an absolute joy to open the box and actually see that there wasn't just a scope laying in there with a bunch of stuff stacked in on top of it. So they did a really good job of taking the time to make sure that this scope is going to handle some of the rough shipping conditions that sometimes our products go through to get to your doorstep. So just kind of a small tidbit of information there. I'm a nut whenever it comes to the way stuff comes to my door. So that is definitely a positive as well. Another cool thing that is included in this box that you don't see from a lot of other manufacturers is a QC inspection form, which QC stands for quality control, for those of you that don't understand or don't know what that is. Basically, this is a check sheet that shows that this scope has went through the hands of a technician or an engineer, and they have tested every single thing on this scope at the factory to confirm that it is functioning, the parts are there, and that everything about this scope, when it delivers to your doorstep, is going to be exactly what you expect in a nice quality high-end scope. So for them to involve that process and give you that QC report is something that's really cool also. They even include you a little cleaning cloth, which I know a lot of manufacturers out there now, if you purchase a scope, you get a little cleaning cloth that goes in the kit. So those are just all little add-ons that are pretty cool with the scope. All in all, the scope, in my opinion, for what everything you get with it is reasonably priced. What I would like to see happen, I would like to see the 2 things, and I've already mentioned it. I personally think that you could do away with 3 different sunshade options. I think if you go with just one sunshade option and eliminate 2 of them, it's got to decrease your cost for what this scope is. So I think that would be a huge plus in decreasing that cost. And I personally believe that if it was enough money to decrease that cost, that you could throw in the extra scope rings depending on which rifle you are wanting to mount this scope on. Or you just take the scope rings completely out of the picture. You take the 2 extra sunshades out of the picture, and then you decrease that MSRP price by even more. So there's a couple options there that I think that is possible room for improvement in my opinion. But other than that, that's probably the only complaint I have on this entire weapon system. So with that little unboxing of goodies out of the way, I want to dive back into the scope itself and just talk about the clarity and just my overall general impression impression of it. It is nice that they send you out some protectors, so I can take this off and you have a flip up cap on the front side. One thing that I don't understand is on your lens protectors you have a flip up cap on the front side, but on the back side it's just a cylinder puck that goes on and then comes off. In my opinion, I would like to see the dual flip up caps. I don't know why you would have a flip up cap on the front but not a flip up cap on the back, so that's something that I would like to see changed, because obviously this little puck here, I'm going to take it and I'm going to throw it in the trash, because I'm not going to take the time, more than likely, to remember to put that thing on, and then every time I take it off I have to put it in my pocket or put it in my book bag or in my shooting bag, whatever the case may be. I don't want to have to try to keep up with that thing. I want it to be on the gun, flip up, out of the way, even if I got to flip it to one side or the other, and get it out of the way. So that's something that's a little odd, but it is nice that they thought of protecting that lens and giving you the option to cover up both ends of that scope. This is an illuminated reticle, so you have the parallax adjustment on the left side, and then you also, on the same side as well, you have your illuminated reticle setting as well, and I believe there is 6 settings. Yes, you have 1 power all the way through 6 power for your different brightness levels of this reticle, which is really nice. I love the fact that these scopes are coming with illuminated reticles nowadays. And one thing that is really important to me for a scope that is illuminated, or not illuminated, but if a scope is a first focal plane scope where your reticle actually decreases in size with the different variations of your magnification, I really want to see an illuminated reticle, because if I go all the way out to 5 power and I look through this scope, my reticle, my crosshairs get super fine, super thin, and in a hunting situation, I may want to back that magnification out to this lowest 5 setting so that I can draw in more light, but I may need to illuminate that reticle just so that way I can definitely get on that animal and know exactly where I'm going to be hitting. If you're hunting in the daytime, or you're target practicing in the daytime, and you're dialed down closer to that 15 to 20 point area or magnification area, the illumination does not really come into that much of an effect, in my opinion, because if it's daylight enough for you to be that zoomed in and to have that magnification that high, then 9 times out of 10 you're going to be able to see that reticle no matter what. But it is super nice that they include that illuminated reticle on there, and that's one of the great things that I really love about this scope. Another phenomenal thing that come on this scope that not a lot of other manufacturers are doing is they have a extended magnifier. I'm going to call it a mag bolt magnification. So on your magnification ring, there's a extended knob here, so it's an easy access, easy turn to be able to zoom in or zoom out on that scope. A lot of manufacturers want you to buy the aftermarket piece that clamps, you know, all the way around this scope. You've got to bolt it onto it, and I'm not a fan of that. This actually came from the manufacturer in that box of goodies, and you can see it right there. You can take it on and off if you don't like it. You can see right there, you can take it on and off. And for me, I thought that it was one of the greatest things that this scope manufacturer could deliver, was to include that into a box and include it in a very simplistic format as well. So definitely, all in all, a phenomenal job just holistically on this scope. The only thing that I can't necessarily speak of right now is how well this scope will hold up carrying it in and out of the brush, you know, and just flat out beating it to death. It does have a 0-stop function, which at first I didn't think it had a 0-stop, but that was just me overlooking items on the scope. So it's got a 0-stop. It's got a return to 0. That's what that means. So really cool. I think that they thought just about everything that you can fit into a rifle scope, they put it on this scope here. Now let's talk about the reticle next. So your reticle, this is going to be, let me see if it's a MOA or a mil dot. See if it says. does not say here. I'm sure that I could probably read the instructions and tell you guys. So I need to go online and look and see if they offer MOA and MIL-DOT configurations. So for just video purposes, we're going to say that this is MOA. I don't see where it says, but I'm sure that they offer MOA or MIL-DOT reticle options. You have the Christmas tree style reticle, which I can do a zoom in on the actual box, and you guys can see obviously on this cut screen here what I'm talking about with that Christmas tree style. And then you can also see where that illumination from the illuminated reticle comes into play also. And kind of backtracking to the illuminated reticle thing, I love the fact that not the entire reticle itself is illuminated, only the main crosshair is illuminated, and that's a huge plus, and here's why. If you get into a low light condition and you have a reticle where the entire thing is illuminated, you get so much blowback into your eye from that reticle being so bright that it will wash out your target that you're trying to hit. But eliminating that entire reticle from being illuminated and only illuminating that smaller section, it helps you dial in that perfect variation of the reticle being too bright or too dim, so that you can see your reticle, but yet you can still see your target that you're trying to shoot and make a quick and accurate shot. So we're really glad that they did that. Kind of backtracking a little bit, but I just wanted to make sure that I pointed that out for you guys. All in all, I am super impressed with this scope. You know, for the price point, I think that this scope could go up against some $2,000 and $3,000 scopes, and it is nowhere near that amount of money, which is super nice. I've got it set up, like I said, on the 17B mag right now, because this 17B mag was actually going to be a gun that I was going to get threaded so I could put a suppressor on it and put a little night vision scope or a thermal imaging scope on it and take it out and try to shoot a coyote in the head one night. But I've not gotten around to making that video yet, so this gun was just sitting here with without a scope, scopeless, and thought, heck, I'll throw that scope on there and we'll throw some rounds down range. But all in all, awesome scope, and I'm super excited that I was able to test this product out. And with that, I'm gonna shut up and quit talking. Let's shoot some rounds down range and see what this thing will do. Alrighty, guys. So got a little bit of rain drizzling in on us, so we got to be mindful of that. But get this propped right here. We are shooting the 17B mag from Savage today. We're shooting a 20 grain bullet. And this puppy is traveling at 3,000 foot per second. This is, I believe, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that this thing right here is the fastest rimfire rifle out there on the market right now. I may be wrong on that, but 3,000 foot per second out of a rimfire rifle, that is pretty dang slick. And paired with this Discovery Optics 5x25, holy smokes, I can get in there and do some damage. So let's send a couple rounds down range and just show you guys that this scope can handle it. Ooh. I'm talking just... Ooh. Got a dud maybe? Nope. Didn't get one in the chamber. Oh, what we got going on here? There we go. Didn't want to feed that round for some reason. I am talking hitting just a little bit to the right, so let's make a little bit of adjustment left. See if that does it. Oh yeah. Gotta love it. We got one more, I think. One more. Son. No, I lied to you guys. This rotary magazine on this B mag gets me. Boom. Maybe? Yeah, that's it that time. Take that old little rotary magazine out of there, show you guys that we are all safe and good to go. Put that on safe. What a stinking cool little deal right there, man. Coming out here and taking this thing and putting it on a gun like this that has absolutely no recoil whatsoever. It's fast, it's efficient, it's super fun to shoot, man. Holy smokes, you gotta love this thing. This would be a really cool setup, guys, for anybody that is maybe looking to get a kid into the predator hunting world for daytime hunting. This scope would really let them get in on that animal and really get zeroed in on what they're trying to shoot and what they're trying to hit. There's no recoil. It's a fairly inexpensive gun, and then if you top it with an optic like the Discovery ED-PRS, you can do some serious damage with this thing. And then if you decide that you want to upgrade into the nighttime hunting situation, then obviously you can take this scope off of this firearm and put it onto something else, and maybe you want to put this onto a competition style gun. That is where I really truly believe that this gun is meant to shine, is in those competition long range shooting areas. Not saying you can't use it for hunting, because it has all the features that you're really wanting in a phenomenal hunting rifle setup. But I really think this one was designed for the long target practice realm, or potentially long range deer hunting applications. But just an awesome little critter right here. Clear glass, illuminated reticle. Guys, you got to absolutely love it. So that's it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this video just as much as I enjoyed making it for you guys. If you are new to Southern Extreme TV, hit that subscribe button. I am trying to grow this thing to 100,000 subscribers, so every little subscriber click gets me one step closer. If you guys got any questions, concerns, comments, go follow me on all my social media pages, Facebook, Instagram. I've got all that stuff, and feel free to send me a message on that, man. I absolutely love hearing you guys give feedback on the videos and ask questions about some of these products that I'm reviewing. So with that being said, that's the end to this video. Hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.